Hey guys, welcome back to Raftel TCG. This is Christian coming back to you guys with another deck profile. Today we have an updated OP02 Kaido list. It's something we've been having a lot of fun with the new cards. I think it adds a lot to the deck. And without further ado, before we get into it, I just want to say that we've broken it up into the OP01 and the OP02 cards, so you can kind of see what updates you might want to make to your deck and kind of the reasoning behind it. So of course, the leader, Purple Kaido. You could add some of these cards, I guess, to the Blurple version as well, but for this list, we're going to be focusing on what we would have in our mono purple. So starting off with the new OP02 cards, it's mainly the Impel down cards, and the majority of that is because of the one drop. So Hannibal changes everything, and that's why we're playing 4 copies of it. Not only does he counter for 1, but he gives Kaido kind of something he's been missing this whole time, which is a play on the first turn for a 1-drop, and some searchability. A majority of the Impel down cards that we're going to see here afterwards are all searchable by Hannibal, and that's the sole reason we play them. So definitely a mandatory 4 of. Following, we have 4 copies of Domino. This used to be Black Maria in the deck, but now we just have a searchable version of it, so we want to play a higher count of Impel down cards, because without Domino and playing, I guess, the higher count, it'll be sometimes quite difficult to hit an Impel down card, making it so Hannibal will miss on occasion. But just a chump blocker who also counters for 1. Next, 4 copies of Little Sadie. The ability never comes up, it's just a 2k counter that's searchable, so it gives a higher count in the deck, and 2k counters are always great. And lastly, and I think the most controversial card, is Magellan. I've seen people play anywhere from 0 to 4 of this card. I've been testing it at 4, and I wasn't convinced at first, but I do think now he's mandatory in the deck. The -1 really messes up with your opponent's curve. Well, it doesn't do too much to you because of your ability to use Onigashima to get your Dawn back. Not only that, he's just really sticky on the board. No one wants to get rid of him because the -2 that they get on KO is just awful. It says them so far behind. They're already -1, now we -3 in total. So he's just a 5k or a 6k at 5 cost that continues to stick on the board and swing. Not only that, but he single-handedly wins the mirror match. Your opponent can't drop the 10-drop Kaido on him just because they'll go down to, I believe, 2 Dawn without the stage, 6 for the 10-drop Kaido, and then another -2 for this. So he's just an insurance policy as well. And probably the main reason to play all the Impel down cards is Judgment of Hell. It's probably the best counter in the game, maybe second best behind the new black one, but Judgment of Hell counters 2 cards because it gives -3 to 2 different characters or leaders. So playing against green or any card that can potentially swing twice, like a Basil Hawkins or the Kid Leader, this card feigns all those attacks. So definitely mandatory 4 of, searchable, and just a great card. Now moving on to the OP01 cards, which is mainly from the Animal Kingdom Pirates deck, supplemented with some other cards. I will start off with 4 copies of Kurozomi. Just another chump blocker. It used to be this plus Black Maria, which is now placed by Domino, but a 2 cost 3k that chump blocks and counters for 1. Next, 4 copies of Sasaki. This could easily be X-Drake or any other 2k counter. Just here for 2k counter, I very rarely will play this card, although it does have ability to ramp. So in my opinion, if I'm going to play something that is 2k, I want to make it something that I can also have potential to play, because if I see multiples of this on a mulligan hand and I'm forced to play with a subpar hand, he might come up. Next is the heart and soul of the deck, Onigashima. It's the only reason the deck's kind of able to function. You want to mulligan for this card, you want to see it, it enables everything, great card, definitely mandatory at 4. Next is another flex spot, 2 copies of Who's Who. I used to play 0, and Blurple I play 4, but I'm kind of settling in between 0 and 2 now. I think that a lot of people are relying on chump blockers, and they'll say, okay, I'll block a big attack with the chump, but being able to pay 3 just to pop something low and then still have a body on board that you can attach 2 Dawn to swing isn't too bad. And typically, while I don't like to play trigger cards because I think I don't really like to bring luck into the game, the trigger's pretty decent as well, so it sometimes will come up. Next, 4 copies of Queen. Another mandatory 4 of probably one of the best blockers in the game, just being able to get rid of a dead card in your hand and see 2 more. Also has a great stat line on top of being able to counter for 1, definitely mandatory at 4. Next, I'll just lay out my ratio for king, which is 4 and 2. I think the 6-drop king right now is better than the 7-drop. Quite often, I'm not able to resolve the 7-drop to get rid of 2. Sometimes I'm just popping 1, and it requires an additional Dawn not only to play it, but you have to minus an additional 1 as well. I do think it has its uses. It's great against red decks and a lot of green decks because you can sometimes get rid of a Beji and one of the Bonnies as well. But I think you're more often going to be seeing a lot more use with the 6-drop king. Next is my ratio for the big Kaidos. I play 1 of the 9 and 3 of the 10. I think this could be any ratio that includes any of the 4. You could play 4-9, 4-10, 2-2, 3-1 the reverse way. I think right now I value the 10-drop the most, and typically I'd like to play 4 of it, but I think for deck diversity and just having the option to maybe stall out a game to draw into the 9, just in case that's your absolute win con, I just want to have in the deck. Or maybe if I were to see 2 of the same card, I'd rather see 1-10 and 1-9 than 2 10s. So it's just for deck diversity, but honestly you can play around with it and play however you want. And lastly, 2 Blast Breath. It used to be at 4, but then Judgment of Hell came in. It used to be 4 of these and 2 Thunder Bagua, but now I think we value the 2 cost. Counters a little bit more. While Blast Breath is great, it does counter 4. Judgment of Hell is just so much better in most scenarios, so we're still going to play 2 because it's one of the best cheap counters in the game, but we're favoring the searchable -3 to 2 characters now. And that's the whole list. I think we'll have a couple more videos coming up sometime soon with regards to some gameplay and additional lists for some OP02 decks that we have coming up. So be sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment if you have any suggestions for us, and be on the watch out for some new videos. Thanks, guys.